Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's time for another show today. Time for another show today. Yeah, special guest on today, man. A long time basketball player, man, from White Station High School. And I'm gonna bring him on for a minute today. Here we go. The guest Dane Bradshaw. What's up, Dane?
What's up, Chris? How you doing, man?
What's up, man? It seems like you can dunk, man. It's like you can play a little bit, man. What's going on with
No,
you?
hardly that. I'm just like you. I'm just waiting outside the gym for my kid to get out of practice right now. So,
Man, yeah, that dead
we're
life, man. How
living
you
living
doing?
through
How you
them now.
doing? How you been doing, man?
Everything's great. Appreciate you reaching out and go down memory lane with you.
Yeah. I remember, man. Yeah, we were talking about you the other day. Me and Melvin Wilson talking about you, man. And Broderick and Roderick. Yeah. We were talking about
Yeah.
you, man.
I I was never getting lined up as you would know, but there were some long waits in the shop there when I'd wait on all my teammates that would ride with me, having to get their fresh cut before a big game, and I was sitting in that shop waiting forever.
Yeah. I understand, but man, it's still the same thing. But man, tell the people in Memphis, man, what you been doing lately, man. You know, everybody ain't seen you in Memphis, man. So let them know what you been doing lately.
Yeah, I wish I got back there more often, but man, I obviously I went up to UT and had 4 years there. Went 1 year overseas in Holland, and then came back and really for the most part been working in Chattanooga for the same company in real estate land development for gosh, it's about 16 years now. So doing that, and then getting to do some of the SEC network broadcasting as well, which has been fun. Just staying close to the game and still keeping up with the guys like you mentioned, Melvin and Ray, and some of the old teammates, of course. Uh, the legend Terry Tippett as well, who I speak to on a regular basis. So it's been good.
Yeah, Terry Tippett, man, that's a legend, man. You know, he's been around a long time, man. And won a lot of championships with the team, man. He had a lot of talent over there. Yeah, a lot of talent over there. Dan, can you hear me? I think we got we lost connection. I'm gonna Oh, we lost connection for a minute, then we. Can you hear me? Dan, can you hear me, Dan? Can you hear me?
There we go.
Yeah, we lost connection up for a minute. So you were saying you played overseas for a minute in Holland.
Yeah, I did that, and it was cool, man. We were on a terrible team, the Holland Seals. So it wasn't like the D1 SEC life, and the road trips weren't on a nice charter plane. We were in the back of the minivan, crammed in together, but it was still fun. I thought I was going to keep playing for a little bit, but then, like I said, just got a job opportunity, moved back to Chattanooga, and married my college sweetheart, and I've got 4 kids, 12, 10, 9, and 4, a boy and 3 girls, and we're living in the gym. We got 4 games this weekend, and everybody's hooping. So you'd be proud of me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have 2 kids myself. Man, but I started. I got a 4-year-old and a 5-month old. So, I just started. So it been a big thing. But man, I just want to get y'all, man. I see you be doing big things on the SEC network. I be seeing you on with Ron Slay.
Yeah,
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 Ron,
that's
yeah.
Ron and I never played together, but he was the guy that hosted me on my recruiting trip, so we knew each other well. Nobody loves Tennessee more than that guy does. So it's been cool to see Slay just continued to rise through the ranks. I mean, he played for a long time, but then got into radio, calling high school games, doing anything he could, and got his shot. And he's done a great job in the studio. But yeah, it's been fun. You'd love it as a former player and coach. Just going to shoot arounds, just watching how the game's evolved, and how to each their own. Nate Oates will run one style at Alabama, and then Eric Musselman obviously used to be at Arkansas, do it differently. Bruce Pearl does it his way. Barnes,
Mhm.
Calipari. So it's been cool to sort of have a front row seat to just see how they do it.
And so how hard is it to I know y'all gotta have like game plan too for the basketball. You gotta know what to talk about. So how hard is it to do a scout on a team that you ain't never seen before till last like the day before?
Yeah, because the software nowadays they've got a lot of tools at your disposal. So
Yeah.
I take a lot of pride in it. I try to watch a lot of film on guys. Synergy's a great software where I can look up a certain player. Since you mentioned Melvin Wilkes, let's just use that example. Now I can look up on Synergy, watch if he was playing right now. I'd look up Melvin Wilkes and see, hey, we gotta go under all the ball screens. He's fast, but he can't shoot from beyond the arc. So you get things like that. I
Uh-huh.
hope he's listening. But so it's cool. And then obviously the coaches, as they get more trust in you and you go to shoot arounds, you get a feel for what they're doing. Some coaches will let you in the film room on the scouting report and that sort of thing. So just trying to be prepared um, and and be able to try to educate the viewer a little bit.
Yeah, so I remember first time I played against you, man. I was at Maryland. It was a scrimmage game, and man, I remember you said a pick on me, man. I thought you broke my neck, man. I was so mad at my big man. Like, man, call the pick out, man. You feel like a brick wall, day. I was like, man, you were bigger than everybody, 9th grade strong. I was like, man, it's not a normal 9th grade kid, man.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I hope it was a legal pick. I wasn't trying to set anything dirty. I'll give credit to my older brothers and sister in the backyard who used to set those screens on me and taught me what a real pick was. And yeah, I probably embraced being bigger than I should. By the time I got to college, I realized, that 220 might have worked in high school, but I needed to lose about 15, 20 if I wanted to keep up with the with some of those guys on the court. So, but that was a big awakening too. Any young kids watching, just the nutrition and the diet and the conditioning were all things that really took to another level by the time I left high school. But those are my greatest memories, man, playing games like you just mentioned. Nothing better than Memphis basketball. It's as I heard somebody say, it's the one place in the South you can talk hoops year round. Everybody else, it's football dominant, but not in Memphis.
Yeah, but folks don't realize, man. Folks don't realize how dominant White Station was back then, man. And I tell people all the time, they uh they set the tone early. They had a dynasty going early, and folks didn't recognize that. I think how many you won? What, three in a row at White Station?
We won 3 out of 4. So my freshman, junior, and senior. My sophomore year, we got upset on our home court by Fairleigh.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, it was. I appreciate it. That all goes to the guys that came before us that really set the tone and got it to the next level to where everybody wanted to come play at White Station, play for Terry Tippett. Um, I don't say this to brag on myself, but just the team and the culture we had that everybody uses these days, culture. But it was different than culture, man. It was family. We were 137-10 over a 4-year span, and um, people. You think about nowadays too. Everybody's jumping ship, going here or there. How much is my kid gonna play? All this. People came to White Station to play less and win more, and that's unheard of. But
Yeah,
that's why it worked.
yeah. I remember that because man, y'all could have easily left and played somewhere else.
Hmm.
And
And there were times too, like when you felt like you were a good player, like there was a little bit of lack of playing time, lack of scoring fatigue at times during the year when it would kind of get monotonous a little bit and you were blowing teams out, but you weren't playing that much and because you were having to share so much playing time. But Coach Tippett always managed that extremely well. And the better the team did, the better the individual would benefit. We were, 1 year we were state champs and we didn't have anybody averaging more than 10 points a game. So, but people were still getting scholarships and going to the next level, and coaches knew what good basketball looked like.
so what's the thing about how was it playing for Bruce Pearl?
Oh man, I loved it. So playing for Bruce. Sorry, I'm getting sidetracked a little bit. My son's walking out. But playing for Bruce was uh, such an incredible opportunity. I've been so fortunate. So he came in my junior year. I was recruited by Buzz Peterson. So freshman year, sophomore year, we struggled. He gets fired. Bruce comes in out of Wisconsin, Milwaukee, um, and really we started winning right away. His system worked. All this small ball stuff that you see everybody doing now, he was doing that before it was popular, and the Draymond Greens that everybody wants, a Draymond Green type player. And he was the one that would have those 4-man mismatches that could step out a little bit, be a point forward at times. And so it was funny that I'll tell you this, the guys that were ready for their opportunity that didn't bail, didn't quit during the struggle, during the tough times under Buzz Peterson. Those were the ones that had the most success. Chris Lofton, C.J. Watson, myself, and others, and the ones that were pointing fingers and blaming coaches, they either ended up getting kicked off the team, transferring, or whatever. And so it's just a good lesson of just staying ready. You never know what's going to happen. And Bruce Pearl gets so much credit for his marketing, his personality, but I'm telling you, his X's and O's and his work ethic is second to none. You'd love being in a film room with him. It was just I learned as much as possible in my 2 years with him, and still learning from him.
So what about was you on that team that beat Memphis that year?
You know what? That was the year after me. That was the number 1, number 2 game. So I was the only senior that graduated, and so Tyler Smith is basically similar team, most of the same team back, but older, except Tyler Smith and JP Prince eligible. And I hate I wasn't a part of that one. And Chris Lofton will tell you, even though he didn't even play his best game really, as he was still recovering from cancer that nobody knew about. But he
Uh-huh.
said that was the greatest game he's ever been a part of. It was like a Super Bowl, and I was in Holland, and people that didn't even follow college basketball knew about that game. They'd see me with a Tennessee shirt on. They're like, "Hey, big game this weekend." So it was big time.
I remember JP Prince was talking to someone. I remember he walked. I was at the game. He walked. He was like, "This is my gym. I'm letting y'all borrow for a minute." JP Prince, he talk. He talk all the time.
All the time. Hate him or love him. He's gonna be the same every single time. And it's backfired on him at times, and then there's other times he's walked the walk. And in that game, he walked the walk and he closed it out. So um, uh, Yeah, he talks a little too much, but I can't blame him that much because I was in his ear a bunch from pickup games at White Station. So he probably, if he was to blame anybody for that trash talking, he'd be looking at me.
Uh-huh. So, but I know, man. In high school, man, you were one of them kids, man. You weren't real athletic. You weren't fast, but you knew how to play the game the right way. Cause I know one girl, y'all saw 5 in, 5 out, and there was a key that if I remember exactly,
Yeah.
y'all won the state. I think Melvin got MVP that year. Melvin Woods got MVP that year, and both y'all made our tournament team. And I don't think Melvin scored over 10 points, but he had like 8, 9, or six, 7 steals, something like that. And
Yeah.
I think Melvin Woods took y'all to the state championship that year. I think you closed it out.
No, yeah, he was our quarterback, and he was the best player during that state state tournament, and well deserved MVP. I've been happy for teammates before when they've gotten an MVP or a big trophy. I've never been happier for a teammate than that one. I mean, that was his senior year, him getting that championship, um, and him playing so well. So, but you're right. And actually, that year, not only did we rotate a second five in, we had a third five. We went 14 deep, and we'd have one guy that would kind of split who got to rotate in with the third five. So you had guys that weren't even averaging playing half the game. That was as much talent as I think Coach Tippett's ever had to manage on one team. But everybody put the team first, and good things happen when that occurs, and guys were able to get there. Able to get there. Excuse me. Oh, get in the car. Sorry. He's
That's,
trying to
that's,
stay and shoot more.
that's
So
all
I told you I'm on the
good.
phone. So it was uh it was the best team experience I've ever been a part of in my life. But it taught me too how um what winning looks like and what championship teams look like. And that carried with me forever. And when I got to Tennessee, I could tell our first year, I was like, man, as a team, we aren't about the right stuff. Not blaming any one person, but the standard in my mind was always White Station and guys that always put themselves last. And so, um, yeah, I credit Terry Tippett too, because as you remember, those teams were so special because, well, I wasn't the most athletic one. We had some great athletes, and we could run and gun, and we could do highlight plays, alley oops, and put up big points. But if it was also the smartest thing for us to do to go four corners and stall the last 3 minutes of the game, we'd out discipline any team in the country.
Yeah,
And you usually don't have that dynamic. You
yeah.
have one of those athletic teams, you think, all right, we're going to outsmart them. Or you got one of those smart teams, you're going to say, all right, we're going to out athlete them. With the team that Terry Tippett put together, we had the best of all worlds.
So you were part of that rivalry, White Station, Raleigh, Egypt, weren't you?
Yeah, that was kind of, and it was at its peak in my early years. So, uh, man, that was my welcome to Memphis high school basketball. It was going into my freshman year. I was fortunate enough to make varsity, but we had it was getting hyped up even in the summer because that's when Lorenzen Wright came to the Grizzlies, and Lou Wright transferred in. So you had Scooter, Moo Evans, and Lou over there, and of course we had Ernest Shelton, Kyle Buggs, Torres Thomas, and so the rivalry was already getting heated before it even picked up. And man, we had that first game at Raleigh, Egypt, and I can't remember how many overtimes it went into.
I think
Shouldn't have gone to that.
it was 4 overtimes.
Yeah, it might have been. It should have been less than that. Freshman, I remember missing some big free throws in that one. I'm still mad about that. But just seeing when a big play would happen and how the fans would pour into the stands and security going crazy. Like I mean, I grew up around Memphis basketball, but that was the biggest up to that point. That was the biggest environment I'd ever seen. And then the rematch, other guys might have a better memory of it than me, but it was going to be at White Station, and but then there was like a snow event or something that made it postponed. So then the hype kept getting like man, you couldn't get a ticket to that game, and so it just
I think
ultimately,
they moved to the field house. I think.
yeah. Oh, that's right. That happened one time. We got to the field house. I think we ended up being 2-2 against each other that year, and and before they got upset. or I forget what happened in the postseason, but I think we ended up going 2-2 on the year with that crew. But man, that was loaded talent there, and really we had some great teams after that and some great atmospheres. But nothing really compares to my freshman year and that rivalry.
So what junior did you go to? What middle school? Did you go to middle school in Memphis?
I did. I was at Woodland Presbyterian over there on Park Avenue.
Okay,
Yep,
okay.
small little private school, and I give my parents credit because everybody really from there, you move on to Christian Brothers or MUS or somewhere like that, and my parents just knew that the best place to balance academics and basketball was under Terry Tippett, and I remember going over there for some summer league camps and stuff, and I wasn't enrolled yet, but and then when we went to visit and watch a game one night, and that was freshman, and they were there with the varsity, and they saw me in the stands. They came right, gave me a big hug, and he was like, "Oh, you're coming to White Station? Let's go, DB. It's about to be over." And he made me feel like family, like before I was even enrolled, and so it was that type of brotherhood and everything else that attracted to me. And I remember being in Coach's office, and while we're talking, he gets the phone call, and it's Robert O'Kelly, who was at Wake Forest. But the fact that Robert was calling his head coach even after he had moved on, still getting advice and having that sort of relationship, that was something that certainly had a huge impression on my parents and myself.
Okay, so I think you played with my college teammate played with you, Courtney Ellis.
Quentin Ellis.
Yeah, that was my college roommate.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Where what years? Tell me Courtney Ellis.
Yeah, tall, redhead.
Oh, I thought you said Quentin Ellis because I had a Quentin Marion in my mind and Courtney Ellis. Oh yeah, big yeah, Courtney for sure. That was a kid, man, he kept getting better and better. And he was out there uncoordinated, couldn't touch the rim, and just kept working on it. Next thing you know, he was getting above the rim, finishing over people. Ended up with a nice little jump hook in the paint. Courtney was he was a late bloomer, but once he got it going, man, he was a heck of a player for us.
Yeah, he ended up playing with it was my roommate at college at Fisk University. We ended up playing down there, man. Courtney had a good career down there, averaged a double, man. And I would have to get Courtney. You know, I was a raw guy, man. I would have to cuss Courtney out. My coach said, "Whatever you did, do it again."
yeah, that's right. Courtney, yeah, he and I tell you the best, most exciting games I ever played were ones where no fans were even in the stands, man. It was just seventh grade. We always had like coach worked it out to where everybody basically seventh period. Everybody had gym together, which was basically pickup. And man, like you talk about making each other better and tougher and taking it personal, there wasn't anything friendly about it. I mean, the things we said to each other, the fights, the pushing, the shoving, and then still be friends right after. That was special. But Courtney was a guy like myself that really benefited from that. Where, you know, Courtney came in pretty raw, but it was survival of the fittest, and you were going to get abused and punked if you didn't grow up quick and hold your own. And I think you can say the same for all of Memphis. It taught me, man, heading into college, like I might not have been as good as my teammates and the upperclassmen, but they knew I was from Memphis pretty quickly with the way you got to survive down there on the court.
Yeah. So the bigger rap I seen it was a couple years, I think 2008, White Station and Melrose. You had Chris Jones versus Joe Jackson.
Yeah, I hate I didn't get to witness any of those, man, because I heard about them from afar, and I wish I would have seen them in person, because those are a couple legends there.
Yeah, I never forget. It was a Friday night game. Memphis was going. I think Memphis was about to play Tennessee the next night because they had Greg Anthony was in town. I think he was gonna do the game. Greg Anthony.
Yeah.
He was in town, and that was his first time. I remember he said something on because he said, "Man, I just was the best basketball player I've seen in a long time." Joe Jackson scored. Right? Joe Jackson scored 19 points in 3 minutes to beat Melrose.
Woo.
And he
I
stood in the
remember
middle of
hearing
Florida
about it.
school.
I'm going to have to look it up and get some video because I only really got to meet Joe one time at an alumni thing that Jeremy Hunt put on together at Memphis
Mhm.
UT thing. And real cool kid, but I just never was around him enough to get to know him or to watch him, and certainly congratulate him. And he deserves to have his jersey in the rafters. And then to have the pressure to carry the city on your back and perform the way he did at Memphis is special.
Yeah, but man, he's yeah, I think they did retire jersey up there White Station. You know, I retired the jersey at the middle school. No, I coached at the middle school, Sherwood. I retired there too. But yeah, and he stood in the middle of Florida and told Mayor, he said, Orange Mountain, this is my neighborhood. I never lose a Mayor Road.
I love it, man. There's a lot of pride and bragging rights in Memphis, and that's why high school basketball there can be the best. There's some great memories, and you'd have a better pulse than I do. But with all the prep schools around and everything else, I don't know if it's quite what it used to be with some of those rivalries we talk about, and the way AAU is sort of. I don't want to say taken. I mean, it's taken over. I don't want to say it's not as important where you go to high school, but it just
Yeah.
you know
It's not like it used to be, man.
The top players, they're not going to the same schools that you would have thought they would 15 years ago, where it was all about where you're going to go win a state title at.
Yeah. I think I saw you wrote a little book.
Yep. My senior year, I did. I was so I kind of served a couple purposes. I'd graduated in 3 years because with being up there and doing summer classes and everything else, and so I was getting my master's my 4th year, and you got to do a senior project, which is somewhat synonymous with thesis, but either one. And so at that time, that was our 2nd year under Bruce Pearl, and the town was just raving about Bruce Pearl and always wanting to know more. And so I decided to basically keep a journal and a dial, and really keep up with everything from the preseason workouts to the training, conditioning, just funny things that might happen on the road. Just kind of create a journal, and was able to. The ultimate goal was to publish it, and we called it Vertical Leap: Inside the Rise of Tennessee Basketball. So it was cool. It served as my senior project, and I got to publish the book and make a few bucks, which is, I guess, before NIL, that was the only thing I could do if I wanted to get a little cash. So it was fun.
So let the people know that watch it where they can buy your book at, man. So I'm gonna try to go get it too. Let people know on this live where they can buy the book at.
I appreciate it, man. It's a throwback. At this point, you'll just have to find some used ones on Amazon. I struck while the iron was hot, so I think we kind of sold out of them. I still got a case of them at my house, but we don't have it still in bookstores or anything like that. But I'm sure you could find one on Amazon somewhere.
Yeah, I need me one, man. We might can mail me one.
Yeah, I got you. You just let me know. I'll get one to you. There's only a few of us out there that would still like to go down memory lane back to 2007 Tennessee basketball, but I got you.
Okay. So your son playing. So your son gonna be better than you, man, or he ain't that tough yet.
Hey, he's a good player. He's got a ways to go. He's sitting right next to me, but he ain't tough enough yet. I know that, but he's getting there.
He need to come to Memphis and get some of that Memphis basketball in him.
He's getting it, man. I tell you what, he shoots a lot better than I could. And most important thing, man, I pull up from work, and 9 times out of 10 when I pull in that driveway, I can see the ball in the air. I know who's on the court working. So he's putting the work in, and cares a lot about it. So.
Yeah, so he needs some of that Memphis toughness, man. Bring him down here, let's play some of these Memphis guys down here.
I know it. You get some of that Memphis toughness, and I know how it was. If I bring him down there, he's going to come back with a lot worse language than he's got currently. So I got to watch
it. Yeah. Well, I ain't gonna hold you up. I see you going home, man. I see you just getting out of work, picking the kid up. I ain't gonna hold you. I know you got a long day, man. I appreciate you getting on with me, talk a little bit about yourself and what you're doing, your son, and about White Station basketball. I appreciate you, man.
No, thank you. It's always fun to catch up anytime.
All right, thank you, man. See you later.
Hello.
All right.
I appreciate you, Chris.
But that's it. That's the final. That's the talk today, Coach Chris. Sports Talk Basketball. 9450 Heat. I'm out. See ya.